Like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos from PHN Learn. For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.
Hello guys, so in this session we are going to learn how my Java program is run. What is happening in the back end of that Java program the moment I am clicking run button over there. What is happening behind, we will see. Now let us consider our C programming language. Now in C, what was happening? Let us consider I have hello.c file over there. Okay. Now the moment I am clicking run button over there, it compiles the code. That means this code will go to the compiler and then there it compiles, or the compilation of the code happens, and then the output is given, and this output is .exe file. This output is nothing but .exe file, and this .exe file is nothing but your platform dependent file, and that's the reason why we cannot run C programming language in every OS. But in Java, what happens? We have hello.java over there, right? We have to save our file name using dot extension, that is .java file. So here we have .java file. Now this comes into compiler, or the compilation of the code happens, and the resultant code is generated as .class file. This here no .exe file is generated, here .class file is generated, and means this .class file is nothing but your bytecode. The code, the instruction, the form of the instruction which is there in .class file, that is nothing your bytecode. And this bytecode is the special features of Java. And using this bytecode only, we can say that Java is platform independent, because in C programming language what was happening, that .exe file wasn't, if let's say I have I have compiled that C program in my Windows system, that here .exe file is different, and now I want to run this file in my Linux system, then will it be possible? No, because this exe file is platform dependent. It cannot support both the OS, that is Windows and Linux, but this .class file can. Therefore we say that Java is what? Platform independent. Another here what happens is, here there is a compiler, but Java doesn't have this. In the replacement of this compiler, it has a JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. Now this Java Virtual Machine helps us to compile every code, and this Java Virtual Machine is nothing but your interpreter. This JVM is your interpreter which gives the result as a bytecode to us. Okay, after the compilation we get the result as bytecode, that is .class file over there. So who does that? Our JVM. So every operating system has its own JVM over there. We download the JDK over there, right? So that along with JDK, this JVM also comes. How it comes and what is JDK actually, we will see in this session. Okay. Now this was your JVM. So every operating system has its own virtual machine, that is Java Virtual Machine, where we can compile the Java code, right? And this JVM is what? This JVM is an interpreter which gives us the result as .class file, and this .class file is nothing but your bytecode, right? Now this inside this JVM, now this is the complete block of JVM. Now inside this JVM there is another parameter, that is your JIT, that is just in time. This JIT is basically used to increase the optimization of a code, to increase the speed of the execution of a code basically. In previous version of Java, what was happening, this JIT wasn't coming with JVM, it was separately a plugin, so we have to import it, we used to import that to optimize our code. But right now in latest version and modern programming, here what happens, along with when we download JDK, along with that we download JVM also. So along with JVM, our JIT, that is just in time, also gets downloaded. This JIT does what? Basically it converts the bytecode into machine level language, that is binary code. Now we all know that machine understands what? Binary language, right? It cannot understand human language over there. So this just in time, that is JIT, converts the bytecode which is getting converted, that is the .class file, that is getting converted through this JIT, which is, and the result which we get is our final binary code. And that this binary code is only readable by the system, right? So this is what happens. So if you see the flow chart of your JIT, this is what is happening. First of all, we compile our Java code. The moment I am compiling the Java code, what is giving me the output? That is bytecode. Now, if at all your system has JIT environment over there, then it will get this bytecode is directly converted into binary code through this JIT, and then it will give to the hardware. Same is happening, right? But if it is not have that JIT environment variables, environmental set over there, then what will happen? It will directly give it to the JVM. JVM will convert it, and then it will go to the hardware. So this is the flow. After compilation, the bytecode is there. Now this bytecode is not readable by your machine. Which code is readable by your machine? Binary code. So now I have to convert this bytecode to binary code, right? So this binary code is getting converted into this bytecode is getting converted into binary code, and then it is passed to your machine, which is now readable by the machine. So this is the process, and this is how your JVM and JIT works. JVM is what? Java Virtual Machine. JIT is what? Just in time. It optimizes your code. It makes the execution faster. That's the reason we use JIT over there. Okay. Now, with this JVM and plus with some libraries, we can have a JRE system over there. Now here comes into the picture, that is JRE, which is Java Runtime Environment. Now that I have compiled my code, now that my code is visible, my code is readable by the machine, now I want to run that code. I want to have something output in my output console, right? So now if you want to run the code, you need to have a JRE system, JRE environment in your system. Right? JRE is what? It consists of JVM which consists of JIT plus some library files. Library files means what? .jar files. What is this .jar files? We will study later on. So we have certain libraries over there plus JVM. This combinedly we can say this is nothing but your JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Now we have Java Runtime Environment as well as JVM. Right, now that we can compile our code, also we can run that code. Okay, but now here comes the main question. Every time students get confused that if at all I am having only JRE in my system, then is it possible to run your Java code? The answer is no. Why? Because every time when you first you have to compile a code, right? And before you compile a code, you need to have a JAVAC over there. We have seen in previous session, that is we used JAVAC, means Java C over there. And with that Java C, my code was getting compiled, and after that I used Java file name .java. Right? This was my syntax over there. So this is how, these are the keywords, these are the keywords, these are the parameters which I used before running my code, before running my Java code, right? I use Java C as well as Java, and these two, Java C and Java, get holded into is there in my JDK, that is Java Development Tool. and that's the reason why I cannot run my Java code only with having JRE, because this JRE plus certain Java tools combinedly goes into my JDK, and this JDK holds my parameters like Java C and Java, which is compulsory to run a Java code. Then how you can run your Java code in JRE, because JRE doesn't have these parameters, right? Until unless you are having a JDK overall, then how can you run your Java code? That is impossible. Okay, so now if we see this diagram, what is happening? JDK gives us Java C as well as Java, which is used to run our code. JRE is our environment, runtime environment. It creates a runtime environment, in such an environment where our Java code is capable to get run. And then here comes our JVM. JVM is what? Java Virtual Machine. This is nothing but the compiler of Java Virtual Machine. Java. Okay, and inside JVM we have JIT, which optimizes the code, which makes the execution faster. Okay, so this is how our process is done. First comes JVM. There it is also JIT is there. It will optimize the code and it will convert the code into binary language. Then it goes forward to the runtime environment. It supports the runtime environment. Then through that we can see and after we have JDK, and with this combinedly we can see the output in our output console. And that's the reason every time while if you are working with Java and you want to run your code in Java, then you have to have a JDK over there. JDK is what? Java Development Kit. So you have to have this kit over in your system. Irrespective of the operating system, you need to have this, then and then only you can run a particular Java code. Okay, so this is how your Java program runs, and that's the reason every time every operating system have its own JDK over there, and that's the reason we can say Java is platform independent, because of this JDK only. Okay, so this is what happens in the backend of your Java programming language. So this was all about today's session. Hope you have understood. So thank you and goodbye.
For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.